timeline is, and he already has it scheduled out for the next one. I mean, fucking listen. I'm not a big award show guy. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. Also, make sure you subscribe because we are going to be live for the Streamer Awards because that's going to be an absolute fucking catastrophe, and I am going to witness it live with all of you.
The game, how far along production really?
I will say though, Jeff Keighley, pretty good. Pretty good. When it comes to getting these type of games together, pretty good.
Is and what CDPR is planning for the entire next Witcher trilogy. We have a lot to cover, so check the chapters for easy viewing. And
they did rectify this, by the way, because I know like some people were mad about like the way that she looked, and I found it was a bit aggressive. Like it's really not that big a deal. Like some of the cutscenes, she was like a little bit chub, right? In the face. And I feel like that's just a cutscene render issue because in other cutscenes, she looks absolutely fucking phenomenal. So it's like, what are we doing here? So, but I did hear that they did fix that. I don't know if he's going to talk about that in this video, but I did hear that they did kind of patch that up a little bit and they kind of made it a bit more, consistent.
Let's dive in. So the first bit of news comes straight from CD Projekt Red themselves during their latest earnings report, and this report is packed, I guess, where they packed a punch
earnings
with it
report
because they give us a lot of new information regarding The Witcher 4. CD Projekt Red has officially confirmed that 447 developers are now actively working on this next project.
That is a lot of chefs in the kitchen, man. I really hope they don't screw this up.
Which that right there is a gigantic team by any standard in the gaming industry, and it really tells us how important this next Witcher game is to the future.
This always makes me nervous. If you told me there's 47, I'd be like, bet. Probably going to be a sick game, bro. Because there's a lot less of an opportunity for people to want to put their own 2 cents in, and I feel like having so many developers on it only works if they are all under the same understanding of how to build the game, right? But the minute that you tell them to get creative is when the problems arise, because then they're going to want to project themselves into the game in one way or another. And then that's where like miscommunications are going to start happening, and then the bugs happen, and then it's just a whole fucking mess, and it's crazy.
Future of the studio. For context,
it's no different than a literal kitchen. Like if you have 5, 6, 7 fucking chefs in a kitchen, and they're all trying to fucking make these different things and try to, put their own spin on a certain dish to kind of get a little bit of notoriety from it, right? They're gonna fucking butt heads all the fucking time. They're gonna work all over each other. They're gonna fuck each other's shit up, trying to fucking help each other out, or this and that or the other, right? Or fucking being, in some cases, malicious about it and sabotaging the other person to try to get yourself a one-up in life, because people tend to think about themselves more than anything else. So it becomes a problem. It becomes a big problem.
That is larger than the teams many studios use for AAA releases.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Look at that. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about when I said that they're making it look more consistent. It's going to be consistent with this. She's fucking beautiful here. God damn.
Puts almost 450 people on something this early in development. It really shows you that they're building this as a generational project, which, I mean, they really need this to be the anchor of the franchise. This is the new trilogy with Ciri at the helm, and first impressions are everything. Like, yeah, granted, Cyberpunk 2077's first impression was bad, but it, eventually got it to the point where like people respect it, and it sold 35 million copies, which that was.
Well, to be fair, Cyberpunk was bad due to performance. The game itself was phenomenal. Holy shit. Unless you're Asmongold and you just haven't fucking finished the game because you're a little bitch, but
It's just announced recently. But they have to stick the landing with this next game, and I think having 450 developers on the...
Like, even this scene, I didn't mind this scene at all either. Like, yeah, she looks a little bit chub, but it's like, it's whatever, bro. It's no big deal. But like, I could see a little bit more. There's like one other scene where she's looking like fucking basically fat. And I was like, what the fuck happened in this render?
Project is a way to do that. They want and need this game to be the next big RPG, the game that really sets the tone for everything The Witcher becomes moving forward. Today's video is sponsored.
Yeah, he's not wrong here. They absolutely have to kill it here in order to bring in this, I don't know, it's sort of divided, audience here.
Click the link in the description to watch the full trailer now. Now, the report also came with quite the reality check about timelines. Yes, I thought we were, kind of jumping the gun a bit, even though I think most of us weren't, but a lot of other people that are outsiders were really jumping the gun, with some stating that The Witcher 4 is going to release in 2027, but I don't think that's the case at all. We got a confirmation that, Cyberpunk 2077 sequel titled Cyberpunk 2 won't release any earlier than 2028. So with that in mind, I think it's safe to assume that, CDPR's next big game, The Witcher 4, probably won't release until 2027 or 2028 at the absolute earliest, which I think this tracks well. Let's be real with each other. We know about how the company really shifted its development processes since Cyberpunk 2077's launch. So simply put, CDPR is not going to rush this game. They want The Witcher 4 to be polished, stable, and, as technically advanced as possible, because the plan is that this game will be really the flagship title for the new Unreal Engine 5 pipeline. They also don't want to repeat any of the past issues with Cyberpunk 2077, and really, given the scale of the team, the shift to Unreal Engine 5, and the promise of a brand new trilogy of games, I definitely think taking their time is the best approach, which I'm sure we all can agree with. So what does that all tell us? Well, it definitely means that The Witcher 4 is really deep into the production cycle, and the next 2 years will really be where the biggest leaps in the development will happen. It also confirms that we should not expect any new trailers, demos, or big showcases anytime soon, apart from the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo stuff that we've seen over the past few months.
To be fair, I do think a good strategy for them would be to simply disappear and then just absolutely knuckle down. And then when you have a bit more to show and a bit more to try to impress, way later down the line, I do think that's when you do the, hey guys, remember me type of moment, right? And you reveal some gameplay, or you reveal some sort of thing that can be critiqued in a way that would benefit the game before launch. That's how I would do it.
Things have been drip feeding lately, so it's we're probably going to keep getting that, but it's not going to be anything other than technical stuff. So in a way, CDPR is building this quietly, but they're also building it loudly, because we're seeing a lot of the technical stuff happen, but we're likely not going to see any substantial footage for the next probably year and a half, unless Summer Game Fest really does deliver. But with that being said, this does lead up.
I don't think Summer Game Fest is going to show anything. Like I said, it would be smart of them to kind of shut the doors for a while and just kind of really dial it in, and then come up with something a bit more productive and proactive to show off to the world, so you can take those critiques. Because I think PoE 2 did a really good job at releasing the game early, letting the bugs be the bugs to a point, right? The overall game played incredibly well. Obviously, there was still some bugs with it. Granted, it's not even out of early access. However, point is that they released the game to be openly critiqued and allowed for the players to dictate the feedback, right? So you had veterans of the game, people who had played PoE 2, PoE 1, Diablo, those type of games where they were very experienced and kind of giving you professionals level view of things, the veteran level view of things. And then you had people like me, and don't go watch that video. That video sucks dick looking back on it. But where I was a complete noob. I've never played Diablo in my life. I've never played any type of game like Diablo, like PoE, like World of Warcraft. I was not that type of guy. I was not that type of player. So when PoE 2 came out, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, but I was like, ah, fuck it, you know? They're putting this much work and this much communication in with the community. Surely it can't be bad. And I was absolutely correct. I have no idea how many hours I have in PoE 2, but I do know it's probably over 100 and it's definitely fucking amazing. Oh my God. I have like this lightning monk build, which is like fucking Wukong, where it's like my quarterstaff, I have this like fucking like decked out gothic quarterstaff, and it's absolutely fucking just gnarly with the fucking lightning spells. And there's only like one time where I can't remember what boss it was, but I was like really fucking stuck. Like I'm assuming it had like resistance to the lightning that I was using because I did like the like dial in on one thing strategy because like when I first made the monk character before the update, I was kind of like using a mixture of ice and lightning, right? So I would use, was it frost? What's the staff? What's the casting staff? No, that doesn't sound right. Oh, the anyway, I was using the ice staff, and I would freeze the enemies, and then I would just spam my lightning moves, right? And then once I got low, like they would be frozen, so I would just fucking hit them with the fucking palm thing, so I can get the overcharge, and then take out a big group of enemies, right? That's how I was doing it, and it wasn't really. It did okay. It wasn't that efficient. But once the update came through, I completely deleted that character. I mean, every single character I had made up until that point, deleted all of them. And then I returned the monk character again. This time I dialed in only on lightning. I focused only on lightning. Well, lightning and chaos. Lightning and chaos. Because now I have a lightning chaos build and it's fucking insane. It's actually incredible. So I do like this curse, like chaos fucking bullshit. And then I use the lightning abilities to kill the enemies super quickly, setting off the curse, spreading it to the other NPCs. So my only goal now is to get a big group of like 50 fucking bad boys, right? And I hit the first line with the curse. I fucking kill a bunch of them. The curse spreads like wildfire, and I just spam my fucking little lightning ability. And I just get as many fucking people in that group as possible. I want there to be an army in front of me because the more the curse spreads, the more stronger it gets, and it's fucking nuts. It's so good. So yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad they do that. And I think there are plenty of games out there that could take that feedback from their player base and implement it in a way that's constructive. But I do think there is a bit of like, okay, so if you are CD Projekt Red, how do you differentiate which players to listen to, which players to not listen to, right? Because there are definitely people who are going to be bad actors who are going to try to put their 2 cents in the ring, right? And the people that I would focus on are the ones who come at it from the perspective of somebody who is going to be new, but they're a veteran at the game, if that makes sense, right? It's weird. It's weird to say it like that, right? But I want them to look at people who are veterans at that game style, right? But they are coming at it from the mindset of somebody who is brand new. So you know they're going to be good at the game because they play games like this all the fucking time, right? But they are going to essentially, for lack of better words, humble themselves to a level of somebody who's brand new to the game and think to themselves consistently, How would a new player feel about this?
Us to the next major update, and honestly one of the most exciting parts of this whole report.
Those are the ones.
However,
They're
I'm
passionate.
really skeptical about it. So as you guys know, CD Projekt Red is not just starting and ending with The Witcher 4, they're building out a brand new trilogy with Ciri at the helm. And according to the company, this trilogy is planned to release within a 6-year period, which when I first initially heard that, I was like, there is zero chance that that's ever going to happen. Like, what kind of stuff are they on? Which this right here is one of the biggest reveals we've gotten in years about where the franchise is headed. And to back that up, the report included a lengthy response from CDPR co-CEO, I believe it's Michael Nowowski, don't know the pronunciation, apologies guys, but in his full statement, he gives a really clear view of how Unreal Engine 5 is helping them move forward towards a much more predictable schedule. According to the co-CEO, they've said this, and I quote, "We've been using Unreal Engine 5 for The Witcher 4 for 4 years now. If I have to say 4 one more time, I'm gonna lose it." But he continued by saying, "And we're very happy with what we've achieved." And I think you guys could have seen some of that with your own eyes with our tech demo reveal at the Unreal Engine Fest a couple months ago. And we're very happy with the results of that. We've already said that, but I'm always happy to say it again. And we're happy with how the engine is evolving through Epic Team's experts and how we are learning how to make it work within a huge open world game as The Witcher 4 is meant to be. In a way, yes, I do believe that further games should be delivered in a shorter period of time. As we had stated before, our plan is to launch the whole trilogy within a 6-year period. So yes, that would mean we would plan to have a shorter development time between The Witcher 4 and The Witcher 5, between Witcher 5 and Witcher 6, and
I think they could do this if they make a good enough foundation with The Witcher 4. They could absolutely just port over the assets, because if it's all set in the same cinematic universe, you simply change up how that universe looks with the assets you've already created. So it would make the development process essentially times 10, because it would speed things along so much, because you're probably building The Witcher 4 from scratch. Because The Witcher 3 is good, but it is not a good enough foundation to set a series on. Whereas, like, if The Witcher 4 is your pinnacle game, then you can't go backwards from here. Like you have to continue to push the envelope. And I could see a world where this ends up being a downfall and it leaves expectations too high. But it all depends on The Witcher 4, which is why they are being so careful about it.
so on. So yeah, this isn't the first time we've heard him say that, but this is confirmation that CDPR has been working on The Witcher 4 using Unreal Engine 5 for 4 years, which means they really have a strong foundation to, go off of. And the tech demo shown earlier gave us really a small taste of what they are building. But most importantly, this quote really shows us that CDPR is building a long-term stable development pipeline, and they don't want to spend 7 to 8 years per game anymore. The shift to Unreal Engine 5 is not just a technical change, it really is an attempt to create
It's a massive waste of resources and time.
a repeatable system where every new game in the trilogy can reuse core tools, reuse the pipeline work, and reuse some animation systems, but obviously upgrading them, some of the lighting frameworks and the world building foundations, and just iterate instead of reinventing the wheel every time they have to release a new game. Like before, they were having to essentially like hack their engine and upgrade it like internally after every single game. But this time things will be different. What I will say though, I highly doubt they're going to be able to release 3 games in 6 years. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, could they potentially do it? Yeah.
I don't think so. Not without massively splitting your resources if Cyberpunk is really a plan for you. And not back to back to back. It's just not going to happen, right? Not without, I think, a significant resource sacrifice to Cyberpunk in one way or another, which could lead to another 2077 situation. And I really don't think they should do that, because they have the opportunity to have 2 insanely popular flagship franchises if they can capitalize on it. But resource management is like their number one thing right now. Like that's the thing you have to worry about the most.
Possibly, but again, I just don't see that being a thing at all. But if you kind of take a look at how other major studios operate, for instance, like Insomniac, they built a foundation with Spider-Man, and now they're able to release games much faster. Sony Santa Monica rebuilt everything for, you know, God of War 2018, and that allowed Ragnarok to also release a lot faster. So this right here is what CDPR is likely aiming for. The Witcher 4 will take the longest because it's the game that, you know, sets the stage and builds the
That's exactly what I thought.
full UE5 pipeline from scratch, but The Witcher 5 and The Witcher 6 will be able to use that foundation to release the games much faster. Now, the other huge part of this is the scale of the overall development team. If 447 people are working on The Witcher 4 right now, imagine what the team size will look like when they have multiple projects rolling side by side in almost a staggered format.
And that is the part that I would worry about.
CDPR has already stated that they want to build out a multi-project studio with having multiple teams working in parallel. So that means that once The Witcher 4 is close to finishing, the teams can now roll onto The Witcher 5 and start the early development process, so they don't have to like lose time or wait for one game to be completed before starting the next one. So next up, we have some unfortunate, you know, really disappointing news for a lot of people that I kind of hinted at before, but CDPR has confirmed that The Witcher 4 will not be at the Game Awards this year. No teaser, no cinematic, no gameplay, no nothing. And while it is
Smart. Fucking W.
unfortunate, it does make a lot of sense. With the earliest release target like landing sometime after 2028 or even, you know, in 2028, CDPR is not ready to show anything further. Now, the good news is that skipping the Game Awards does not mean that we will never see updates. In fact, there are a few realistic windows for when we can actually see something next. If CDPR follows a similar pattern to how they revealed, you know, Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher 3, then we're really not that far away from like a next reveal. Possibly summer of 2026 is my current theory. But again, The Witcher 4 is a massive project. It utilizes a new engine, it's shaping an entirely new trilogy, and it's really one of the most important releases that CDPR has ever worked on. So they're going to want to make sure that this game is right, and they want to make sure that every reveal is really effective. So skipping an early award show is not seen as a negative in my opinion. But that's going to wrap it up with this video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Hit the like.
No, I think there's a lot to look forward to. I think the